Yo, what is up, guys? Del Boy here. So Jose Ramirez knocks out Maurice to become a unified super lightweight champion. He now holds the WBC and WBO super lightweight titles. First and foremost, credit to both guys for putting it on the line. Both unbeaten, both champions, both in their primes, and it made for a really fun fight, really good fight. And if you've not seen it, go online and watch it. Very good fight. And first round, both guys came out and showed their intent. Jose Ramirez, the pressure fighter, marauding forwards, trying to get on Hooker's chest, working the body, looking for that big overhand right. He was having great success in round one, as was Hooker. When there was a little bit of distance, Hooker would connect with that long right hand and that jab. And also he was timing Ramirez quite well with his check left hook. But in round one I scored it to Ramirez. There was a bogus knockdown in round one where Ramirez kind of stood on Hooker's foot and he threw a jab and Hooker basically lost his balance and fell over. It was counted as a knockdown, so I scored round one to Jose Ramirez. To be honest, even if there wasn't a knockdown in round one, I would have scored it to Ramirez. I felt he had the greater output and he landed more shots. Hooker landed some good shots, but for me, in round one, Ramirez just edged it. Round two, I felt Ramirez looked really good. He applied some great pressure, and basically for the last 2 minutes of the round, he was right on Hooker's chest. Hooker was stationary, and Ramirez was getting a lot of work done. Hooker would land the odd shot here and there on the inside, but he was just outworked in round two by Ramirez. In the first minute of the round, Hooker did a decent job of keeping it at range and landing some good long shots, but round two certainly belonged to Jose Ramirez. His pressure was much more effective, he was a lot more active, and I felt he bossed round two. Round three was very competitive, both guys going back and forth, Hooker landing some good hard shots to body and head, the check left hook, timing, Ramirez coming in, and Ramirez himself was having success. Obviously his output, his aggression, his work rate, his left hook to the body was coming into play. Round three was really hard to score, really hard to separate. I mean, you could give it either way. Round four, I felt Maurice Hooker actually showed some good poise in round four. He was using his feet a lot more and keeping range a lot better, landing the jab and that long right hand. Some of these shots looked quite spiteful, quite hurtful, and he seemed to have steadied the pressure momentarily in round four. So round four, I scored that to Maurice Hooker. Round five, though, again, very competitive, back and forth, similar to the third round. At times, Hooker was keeping it at range. Others, Ramirez was really applying good pressure. I felt Ramirez just about nicked round five, but it was very close. It really was. He was caught with some big left hooks, actually, Ramirez, by Hooker. You could argue Hooker maybe landed the better shots in round five, but again, the output of Ramirez is just hard to ignore for me. And I just about had him edging round five, but round six was where this fight ended. And it ended really abruptly, to be quite honest. Towards the start of the round, Ramirez caught Maurice Hooker with a beautiful left hook that rocked Hooker quite badly. And listen, man, as soon as Ramirez saw Hooker was hurt, he jumped right on him and finished him. He landed a combination of punches against the ropes, visibly rocking Maurice Hooker's head back violently, and the referee jumped in at just the right time. Excellent stoppage by the referee. Maurice Hooker wasn't getting out of that situation. He was getting pummeled. His head was rocking around violently. He wasn't defending himself, and for me, the referee made the correct call. And as I said earlier, it was a great fight. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Credit to both guys for putting it on the line, but congratulations to Jose Ramirez. He is now a unified champion at super lightweight. I've always liked Ramirez a lot more than a lot of boxing fans. People kind of criticised him for not entering the World Boxing Super Series, and I get that, but, he's making amends now. I felt his title run so far has been entertaining, and now he's got the biggest win, of his career. So I believe it's time to start putting some respect on Jose Ramirez's name. As for where he goes next, the natural fight to make would be for him to fight the winner of Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis. That would be an undisputed fight at super lightweight, and that's what the fans want. I wouldn't be surprised, however, to see Ramirez have a fight in the interim, because from what I've read, Prograis and Taylor are looking likely to fight in October-November time. So is Ramirez going to sit out for that long to fight early next year against the winner of that fight? Maybe, but I would like to see him stay active and have a stay busy title defense in the meantime. But yeah, the end goal is the undisputed title fight. That's what we all want to see. As for Maurice Hooker, listen man, the guy can come back. He's already shown in his career he can respond well to setbacks. He wasn't impressive on the come-up. He had that gift decision, or that gift draw, against Darlis Perez. But, ever since then, he's come on a long way. So Hooker can come back. He's a tall, rangy guy with power. Listen, the guy's a contender, and he can be involved in some really fun fights. Maurice Hooker versus the loser of the World Boxing Super Series final. I would be happy with that. What about Hooker versus Ivan Baranchyk? That would be a tremendous fight, in my opinion. But my point is, listen, Hooker's lost, but he can certainly come back and be involved in some great fights. He's still a player in that division as far as I'm concerned. Also on the undercard, IBF Super Featherweight Champion Tevin Farmer defeated his mandatory challenger, Guillermo Frenoir, by a unanimous decision. Farmer, he boxed quite well against a good European level fighter, but, it wasn't the type of performance to win him over any new fans. Workmanlike and efficient, but not very exciting. For Tevin Farmer, I really want to see this guy push on now. He's had a few low-level title defences. Now we really need to see him in there with the cream of the crop at super featherweight, unification fights with Miguel Burchell, Jamel Herring, Tank Davis, who also fought last night. These are the type of fights I want to see Tevin Farmer in now. Failing that, even someone like Jojo Diaz, who has been mentioned, would be a great fight. I just want to see Tevin Farmer step up now, if I'm being honest. But Farmer, he looked pretty good. He did the job. And he defended his title. Tremaine Williams, he defeated Unifel Vincente. Tremaine Williams, let's be honest, he isn't anything to write home about, but he's got an awesome nickname. They call him the Mighty Midget, so I found that quite funny. But yeah, he got his win. Nikita Ababi, the DAZN prospect, he was on the card, he got a win. Austin Williams, another DAZN prospect, got a win. And interestingly, the heavyweight journeyman Joey DeWaker was on this card, and he beat fellow journeyman Rodney Hernandez. DeWaker was originally supposed to fight Murat Gassiev on this card, but Gassiev got injured and he had a replacement. Good to see Joey DeWaker pick up a win. DeWaker is one of those, lower level guys that I tend to root for. Seems like a good guy. A small heavyweight, but actually quite skilled. Defensively sound, quick hands, good combination puncher. DeWaker has talent, and you can tell that from his amateur background, but he's just such a small heavyweight, and he doesn't always turn up in the best of shape. But I would like to see him get a bit of a push. Obviously, his name got a lot more notoriety when apparently he knocked out Anthony Joshua in sparring. That was never confirmed, but that was the rumour. Hopefully, Joey DeWaker can make a career off it. I know some people out there might see that as callous and cheap, but a man's got to eat. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, share your thoughts below. What did you think about the main events? And also, how did you feel about the undercard? Share your thoughts below. Peace.